With almost every Battlefield 5 update or new piece of content, DICE gives us a breakdown of what we can expect, either in a blog or in the form of some patch notes. Not everything is listed, however, and sometimes some hidden details go unnoticed until someone finds them during gameplay. The Pacific update is no different. In this video today, we're going to list some of these hidden details and some of these Easter eggs, some of them a little bit more obvious than others, and some that really could be leading on to an Easter egg hunt of sorts. Now, all of today's gameplay is coming via the Acer Nitro 7 gaming laptop. Acer have sponsored this video, and the Nitro 7 is all about powerful performance at 1080p resolution. It's fitted with an i7 processor, 8GB of RAM, and a GTX 1660 Ti graphics card, so plenty of up-to-date specs here, and it's also got a 144Hz display. The Nitro 7 is basically perfect for somebody who wants gaming power on the go, all housed in a really nice, sleek design. For more details on the Nitro 7, or if you want to pick up one of these for yourself, click the link at the top of the description. And there's also a giveaway linked in the description too. Acer have provided me a Predator backpack and gaming mouse to give away, so check that one out as well. Okay then, let's crack on with this video. First of all, we're heading over to the Pacific Storm map. I nearly called it Paracel Storm then. In the shallow waters in between the islands, you're able to spot various coral reefs, and they play host to lots of tropical fish. It's a stark contrast between the massive invasion and the raging storm above the water, but down here there are a couple of other creatures lurking around, and one of them can even kill you. If you spot a shark swimming around, some of you might have already noticed that, most of the time they're probably going to leave you alone. But there is a chance that the shark will attack you, and a couple of people have now recorded themselves being killed by the shark. If you're swimming through the water on low health and the shark swims too close to you, you're going to end up dying with the message "killed in action" displayed. If you're swimming around looking for the shark and you die from drowning from being under the water for too long, well, that's your own fault, not the shark's. You might have also spotted some turtles swimming around as well, and when I was at the DICE offices recently, developers said there was a third animal that you could find on this map as well, although at the moment it's evaded everybody so far until I found it earlier on whilst I was looking for the shark. It's a Manta Ray. You can find this out in more open waters. I found it in the bottom left part of the map where there's a lot of open water, and it doesn't appear to do anything. It doesn't attack you like the shark, and I figured out that the shark attacks you because it speeds up in certain places and swims much faster. If you stand in its way, it sort of like headbutts you, and that's what damages you. But I don't think the Manta Ray does anything, but it's very graceful moving around in the water. Next up on the list, we're going to talk about the new battle pickups, the Flamethrower and the Katana. Now, at this moment in time, with update 5.0 applied to Battlefield 5, only one player at a time can pick up these weapons from their spawn location and then use them until they die. There are several spawn locations on both of the maps available in the Pacific, but you can only pick one up from their individual locations. If a player holds onto them for a long time, they're not going to respawn until that player has died and drop them on the ground. However, there is a little bit of a glitch in the system that you can sometimes make work, and I discovered this at the Capture event in Stockholm, and I did let the developers know that this was something we'd been able to do, so I assume DICE is now tracking this as an issue for their next update. But at the moment, until there is another update, if two players approach the weapon spawn at the same time and the weapon is then available for them to pick up, if both players hit the interact button at the same time, you're both able to obtain the weapon, and you're both able to use it individually. So you'll both have it available in your loadouts. Now, I'm almost certain that this isn't intentional. In fact, I'm pretty confident that it's not. It presents a fairly large balancing issue for DICE if multiple players were able to run around spewing fire at everybody or charge around slicing everyone to death, but for now, it is something that you can do. So maybe with a friend, you could try and do this on a Friday night and see what kind of chaos you end up causing. Something else that's quite interesting is this little house inside the caves of Iwo Jima. Now, some of you might recognize this house model from one of the other Battlefield 5 maps that you can already play. It's already present on the Arras map. If you head over to the Millhouse location, which I think on Conquest is the A flag, I'm not 100% sure, but you can find these houses down by the river at the stump of a tree. And you can also find these houses on Battlefield 1's Rupture map as well. Now, as I've discovered, this house is the mark of a specific developer at DICE Stockholm who worked on those maps. It's kind of like a signature. This person sort of leaves the house in a less obvious place, more as just a thing for them to remember more than anything else. But however, the difference here on Iwo Jima is, at least at the moment, there is only one small house, whereas on the Rupture and Arras maps, there are several small houses placed down on the ground. I don't really think there's much significance to the number of houses, but it's cool to see this nonetheless. You know that somebody's worked on at least 3 separate maps in the Battlefield franchise. Now, one thing that has absolutely no visual identifier at all within Battlefield 5 gameplay is the location of the Pacific Storm map. Lots of people have been speculating where this might actually take place. DICE developers at the capture event in Stockholm a couple of weeks ago, they revealed to us that the map is set in the Marshall Islands, meaning the battle that we see in Battlefield 5, it's taking place in late 1943 or early 1944. Now, of course, the other map available, Iwo Jima, that doesn't really require any extra information to know where we might be fighting. In December of this year, the third map being introduced will be Wake Island, which is another Pacific atoll that the Americans fought over during their campaign to establish bases in the Pacific for attacks on mainland Japan. So that's 3 separate locations at the moment. Personally, I'm a little bit disappointed that right now we're not seeing any action around the Solomon Islands. These islands were also fiercely fought over during World War II, but the reason for my disappointment is because those islands play host to mainly rainforest, and that's a setting that up until now has not been explored in Battlefield 5. The Pacific Storm map, that is fairly green, lots of palm trees and large bushes covering the land, but it's not quite the dense rainforests that could make for a really incredible map. We're going to have to wait and see if DICE has any further plans for future Pacific maps after they launch Wake Island. For this next hidden detail, we're going to head back to the island of Iwo Jima, and we're going to head over to the crashed transport plane location. This is one of my favourite locations on the map because it's a flag that's really quite difficult to defend, and it attracts attention from pretty much everyone on the map. Infantry on the ground, ground vehicles and planes in the sky. It's got this slightly elevated position, and I think it's just sort of sitting in the middle of a lot of land around it, and it becomes a really natural point that you want to go towards. It invokes chaos, this point. Within the plane itself that's crashed on the ground though, you might notice the jump lights towards the bottom of the front half of the plane. Now, during matches that I've played since the launch of the Pacific Update, the light on this box hasn't turned on, and it isn't on in any of the gameplay that I've got on my hard drive. But during the capture session that I attended in Stockholm, the light was flashing green in most of the footage that I can find. Now, this simply could be a bug in the patch where the flashlight isn't working properly, or it could actually mean something else. Perhaps it's part of a wider Easter egg where the light shows when something is activated. Who really knows at this point? Because this only became clear to me after the capture session that I attended had finished, and I'd already flown home by that point, I haven't had a chance to question any of the developers on it, but if there's anyone out there with a little bit of extra information that might be able to let us know what's happening here, then, feel free to leave a comment. And then something else on Iwo Jima, something that I've seen a few other people report in different videos already, but I am going to mention it here because you might not have noticed this. DICE has included some AI battles on Iwo Jima. If you pull off to the far right-hand side of the landing beach on the breakthrough game mode, and you scope in with your sniper rifle, you're going to be able to see AI soldiers running up and down the beach engaged in a similar battle to the one that you're taking part in. This isn't the only AI implementation that DICE has used in Battlefield games gone past. You can see AI planes flying overhead on various Battlefield 5 maps, Marita and Operation Underground, they come to mind. And you'll also find on the Operation Underground map that there are airstrikes happening to the city over the river, and you can see the explosions going off. You can also see AI tanks on the Hamada map, and if you go all the way back to Battlefield 1 to the Nivelle Knights map, then you're going to see hundreds of AI soldiers running over the distant hills you sort of see them as silhouettes. It's a really cool feature. And then finally, back to the Pacific Storm map, we've been treated to some more telephone Morse code Easter egg hunting. These telephones, they're featured on plenty of other maps in Battlefield 5, and a breakthrough for what they stand for or the Morse code that they emit, we haven't had a breakthrough yet. The team over at the Battlefield Easter Egg Discord, they're working on this one as we speak, so depending on what they find, something might come of this in the near future. And also, if you played a lot of Battlefield 4, you might recognize this tree from the Paracel Storm map. It's now present here on Pacific Storm. You had to use this to activate the Megalodon Easter Egg in the CTE version of this map, so I wonder what it's doing here in World War II. Who knows? So there you have it then, some really awesome hidden features and some little secrets of the Pacific update in Battlefield 5. The Bloodthirsty Shark is probably my favourite in the list, but also being able to share the firepower of the Flamethrower if you get the button push right, that is kind of awesome, even if it is totally unintended and is probably going to get patched out now that I've highlighted it, but there we are. A massive thanks to Acer for sponsoring this video. I think the Nitro 7 performed really well here with that 144Hz display and a powerful GPU like the 1660 Ti. I am hardly surprised, but it's got great build quality as well, so it looks the part when you're moving it around. As I said earlier, more details on the Nitro 7 that can be found in the description, so go and click that link. And don't forget to enter the giveaway for that Predator backpack and gaming mouse as well. That's linked in the description too. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.